Hello and welcome in.
Please do not leave your luggage unattended on the station.
Welcome to the show.
Hello, everybody. Welcome in for Gorilla Sports Off Ice. I'm Megan Angley, joined today by Ryan Bach, president of the Colorado Eagles, on the heels of an exciting weekend up in Loveland, and there's some big news around the team that we need to get into today. But before we get into what happened earlier this week, I do want to go back to that exciting weekend in Loveland with Gabriel Landeskog joining the Colorado Eagles for a conditioning stint. After nearly 3 years in the making, he returned to play a hockey game, and I wanted to know what that weekend was like through the eyes of the organization.
It was certainly quite a story. I mean, obviously, with having a player of his stature come to play and be in the lineup for the Colorado Eagles, but to have and see our fan base be able to enjoy with him playing, in those games is exceptionally, I think, the emotion that was running through the building, just to see the journey of what he had been through to finally get back on the ice was something really special.
And I have to imagine it's something you wear with a lot of pride, because it was a delicate situation with Landeskog, but there was full trust from the Avs organization that he was in good hands, from the coaching staff to the players. What does that mean to you?
Well, I think it starts, there's no question, with the athlete. He's certainly a true professional, and I say that just from, his demeanor, not only being the leader that he is, but off the ice. And, when he was there, just his presence, just for our young players, and watching that and knowing everyone and saying hi and introducing himself, it just goes to show that, that journey that he's been on has not been easy, but he's had a lot of support and people around him. And I think with the organization, the Avalanche, and how they've been behind it and making sure that, the timing of it was right. And it eventually ultimately came down to Gabe making the decision that, yes, I'm ready to compete. And there it was in front of us at Blue Arena, getting to see him step on the ice after 3 seasons.
And this past Tuesday, the City Council of Greeley voted in favor 5-2 of the new arena plan, and we talked a little bit about the proposed new arena at the time, but now it's finally happening. I want you to take me back to when the conversation was first had about the possibility of finding a new home. What were your initial thoughts?
There's no question. There's nothing it's been in the works for quite some time. I mean, we've been in a building for, 24 plus years now. That's been great. And we've been able to establish a very loyal fan base. Fortunately, we've gotten to a point where we've outgrown it. Yeah. So the opportunity of us being able to get the new building and facility has been in the works for the past 3 years. And I think now that it's finally come to fruition with the vote that occurred on Tuesday night, really gives us now a runway, and it's so exciting. I mean, it's something that the Colorado Eagles, I think, for our fan base, giving them the world-class experience of the new building. It's going to be bigger. There'll be 8,600 seats. But then on top of that, it's an entire entertainment district that'll have several restaurants, hotel, water park, which consists of 350 rooms. So that in itself, I mean, it'll be a destination where people will come from all over. And for West Greeley, it's certainly a game changer, being, the gateway now into Greeley, and having a development of that magnitude is going to be something to see here in the near future.
And for fans that will be making the move with you to the new arena, about where is it going to be?
So it is literally, it's 3 miles east off of Highway 34, intersection of County Road 17. So as far as the logistics and location, it's really not that far from our current building.
Yeah.
And the accessibility, I think, is the big part of, our fan base that spreads from, northern Colorado to east, west, all the way south to Denver. So, that's something that's important. But the access for our fan base to come and enjoy, an amazing experience. That's something we're looking forward to here.
And you talked about how this appetite for the Colorado Eagles hockey has just grown, maybe outgrown the accommodations presently. What are some other needs that you saw to be met that will be met with this new arena in the entertainment district?
Well, additionally, there's 3 ice sheets, part of the arena. So ultimately there'll be 4, which will be for youth hockey. And I think, for youth hockey, that's something that's the ice that we've had in northern Colorado is really maxed out. There's no availability for the youth hockey programs to grow. And I think that was one of the parts of, making this a reality of we need more ice sheets. So if we're going to have a main building where the Colorado Eagles are going to play, well, we're a big part of youth hockey, and youth hockey is a big part of what we do.
Yeah.
So the two go hand in hand. And I think now that, with that vision of having a youth hockey hub, a regional hub, I think it's going to be something so big that youth hockey has not even been able to experience in all of Colorado. I mean, you talk about tournaments and everything that will be drawn to that venue is going to be a huge, huge deal.
And looking at the way you've been an impact player in the community already, do you just see more avenues to touch the northern Colorado community even more with this plan?
Yes, and I think that's one of the things we pride ourselves as an organization is, without our fan base in the community, that's really our basis of our success. And I think the more we continue to do that and build on that, I think that's our motive to just continue to give back, but also make sure that they're a part of everything that we're doing. And as a result, we've been sold out for the past 130 games at Blue Arena. So that's one of our goals, is to continue on. Whether we have more seats, I think we have the ability, knowing the growth and seeing everything that we have going on in Colorado and northern Colorado as a whole, we're going to be able to fill those seats.
And as we record this, the Eagles are just 1 point away from clinching the division, which will be the strongest finish to date since they've been an AHL team. So I want to talk about the success of the team this year and how it's paved the way for this new arena becoming possible. Because on top of it, too, I want to shout out Jacob McDonald and the record that he broke last night. Now, 31 goals is the most in AHL history for goals scored by a defenseman. How do you think the success of this Eagles group has paved the way?
Well, it's a special group. I've been able to watch the team start from training camp all the way to where they're at. Ultimately, win away for a point away from clinching the division. So I think that's been their goal and mindset. But I think it starts with the coaching staff and Aaron Schneekloff and his staff and what they've been able to establish, a culture to where, you always have to emphasize development, but at the same time, they've been able to really hold players in that accountability aspect, but then to really have that high level of compete each and every game, which is what you see in Blue Arena, or whether they're on the road. That's one of the things that really stood out for me with this group and the coaching staff, is the level that they come and compete each and every game.
And a lot was asked of the organization with Gabriel Landeskog returning for the conditioning stint. That required a lot of moving parts to accommodate the standing room only fans that wanted to fill the building, all the media that came out. I kind of look at the new arena then. You mentioned maybe possible site for a rookie tournament or future development camps. Is that something that the Colorado Eagles want to embrace? It's just more responsibility because they wear this so proudly.
Yes, and that's one thing, but also ultimately it's about player development. So for our Avalanche prospects and our affiliation, I think it's on both fronts. Be able to have a world-class facility where you're able to have the specialized training, the weight rooms, everything that makes and provides to make an athlete better. I think that's our goal, is we want to have a first class world experience. And that's something that, the fun part starts now, because that's what we were able to get into the design, a new locker room, just looking at efficiency and just making it the best environment for the players and coaching staff.
And you kind of touched on some of the additional features in the entertainment district outside of hockey, like with restaurants and a water park. So I just wanted to go back to that for a second. Outside of the hockey for a moment, what else can people expect?
Well, it's going to be a destination where you're going to be able to attend a hockey game. But before the game, you're going to be able to come have a dinner with your family. You'll be able to have all kinds of extracurricular amenities, from the restaurant to entertainment. I think that's what's going to make it an ultimate experience. And the plaza, there's a plaza that's built in between the facility, the arena, and the hotel water park. And that plaza is going to be extraordinary, from architecture to the features of water, which is where the name Cascadia comes from. It's a Cascadia. That in itself will just be a family experience to come and enjoy. Not only before the game, they'll have pregame shows, and everything else that's going to be a part of that experience. You'll be able to do that before the game and then obviously after.
And I wanted to ask about how the fan base has supported this movement, because they have the most wins at home of any team in the AHL. You said 130 consecutive sellouts. If you could address Eagles country directly to talk a little bit about your own excitement around this, what would you say?
Oh, it's, that's one of the big things going into this is like, okay, we're going to have a new building, but we have such a special environment and energized crowd each and every game. And it doesn't matter if there's league officials or scouts or other organizations that are in the building. They, let us know that this is something special. So you obviously want to preserve that. You don't want to lose that fan atmosphere and everything that goes on during the games. So that's something that we've had our pulse on from day one. But the fans have really been supportive of this whole new experience of having the ability to have a new building. And that's something that, with us having 8,600 seats, I think that gives them the insight of, hey, we're going to be able to, we'll be behind you to fill that building and continue on. So to have the loyal fan base that we have is like no other. And then, again, we certainly want to be able to give back to them. They deserve it. They need that next step in watching an Eagles hockey game. So we can't be more proud and looking forward to the next chapter.
And you talked about how the facility will accommodate players in a big way. Have you gotten any player feedback about this?
That's something that will start now, I think, to incubate. Is obviously I'm going to rely on, the great resources that we have, Colorado Avalanche. I mean, they've been through renovations at Ball and just making sure that we have the appropriate amenities for the players, but also the layout, that's going to give them every opportunity, whether it's, the specialized training aspect or off the ice training. That's something that we're going to collaborate on to make sure this is a world-class facility where our players walk in and they can feel a part of something really special.
And just to begin winding it down, what are the next steps in the development?
The next steps in development are obviously the design and infrastructure. There's a lot of work that needs to go on initially here in the coming months, coming weeks. They're hitting the ground right now. There's on a daily basis there'll be, but groundbreaking. From what I'm hearing, they're anticipating that will be at some point in August.
That's exciting. And about when can people expect it to be, I don't want to say completed with like a hard timeline, but can get excited about maybe getting to see it in person? Yeah,
there's no question a lot of work that needs to get done, but there's a 3-year window there that it would be open around the summer of 2028 is the goal. And that's something for us that we need to make sure that those timelines are followed.
Yes.
Strictly, but we've got a great team and everyone, Greeley City Council. I mean, that's the biggest one that, they've been such a big part of, understanding and supporting the Colorado Eagles from day one. I mean, they came to us and said, we want to be a part of this. So that initial support has really spearheaded, where we are today. And then obviously heading into the vote and the support of the city council of voting that to 5-2, which is a unanimous decision, just really says that they want to see this project through, and they know the upside that's going to bring for Greeley here in the near future.
Well, I can't wait to see some more of the renderings for the plans around the arena, and we'll be following that story closely as soon as you guys break ground too, because I think this is going to have a huge impact on the hockey community in Colorado. The Colorado Eagles obviously have a special place in our hearts, but I think it's going to touch the whole of the hockey community in a big way.
It will. It's going to be a game changer, and that's what's most exciting, just to see, I think, the responses and the support we've had from the youth hockey parents.
Yeah.
I mean, we're at 700 participants, and we turned 100 away last year. And if you look at some of the Denver Youth Hockey Associations, they're right around 900. So we'll be a regional hub for youth hockey, but also, obviously, with the Colorado Eagles' new home, it's going to be a regional hockey hub for many years to come.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us about the new arena. Is there anything else we should know or that you're just most excited about?
Yeah, no, the excitement last night of Jacob McDonald. I know I didn't get to
Yes.
touch on that, but for he as a defenseman and player and a leader, to see him break that all-time goals by a defenseman in the American Hockey League is an amazing accomplishment. It's no different from Alex Ovechkin chasing, the most goals of all time. So for Jacob to be recognized last night to get to 31, hat goes off to him, and it just speaks dividends of the work that he's put in to have the season that he has, but then to break that record is amazing.
It's been incredible to watch his story and the whole of the Colorado Eagles, and the way that he's also led the Eagles throughout the course of this year while having a historic season. It's been so much fun to watch.
Yeah, the whole group. I mean, it starts with leaders in your locker room, from our captains of the Magnas and Tynans to McDonald, but as a group, to see them and the way they've, the chemistry that's been built and what they've been able to achieve. It's not over yet. There's certainly some work to be done here in the next couple of games, but then heading into the postseason, there's a lot of bright lights on the horizon that everyone's looking forward to the postseason.
I got excited. I know I was going to end the interview, but I wanted to talk about Trent Miner just for a quick second and the year that he has had. He has assumed a full-time starting position in the AHL, and I know he was on the doorstep of that the last couple of seasons, but just tell me from the goalie perspective a little bit about the steps you've seen him take this year.
Yeah, it's quite a story. It really is. And I had the ability to work with Trent when I was in the coaching position of the assistant goaltending coach. And just each and every day, his calming demeanor that he brings, but then the way he competes, but then it's his ability to give confidence in all of his players on the bench, I think, is his biggest asset. Because, I mean, if you look back to last weekend, he comes in, he stops a penalty shot, and then makes 23 saves to finish the game. Then it goes into shootout, and he stops, all 5 shooters. But he puts his glove and hand up on the crossbar as the shooters are coming down. So that just goes to show you. And the players can see that confidence in his game. Works extremely hard. So to see what the success that he's had this season is so impressive, and it couldn't happen to a better person than Trent.
All right. I'll stop there. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us here at Guerrilla Sports. Ryan Bach, president of the Colorado Eagles.
Thank you.
Thank you.